if you run your agency for any length of time, something that I can guarantee you is going to come up is going to be the question of whether or not you should niche specialize, right? It doesn't really matter what services you sell. It's going to come up. The idea being, should I, specialize in plumbers, lawyers, doctors, whatever it is, doesn't matter what industry, but is it something that I should do? Now, there are usually two ways that businesses arrive at specialization and niche specialization. One I call the snowball effect, okay? And the other one is sort of intentionally. The snowball effect sort of works like this. You end up selling, say it's an attorney. You sell an attorney, right? You sell a lawyer. And now it becomes easier. The next attorney or lawyer that comes along becomes easier to sell them. And now you've got two. So now the next one you end up selling, it was a little bit easier. And over time, you wind up having a whole bunch of attorneys as your clients. Okay, whether it was intentional or not, you snowballed into that sort of niche. Okay, this happens very, very commonly, just as the happenstance of running a digital marketing agency or a digital, web development company, whatever you want to call it. It's just a happenstance. It's a way that many businesses arrive at specialization without ever having intentionally gone down that road. The other way is to intentionally, go and pursue a niche. Usually this happens because the people who founded the agency in question, i.e. you or your partners or somebody at your company, had a background in one of a number of specialties that gave them a unique in or edge at selling to those entities, right? Long time ago, I worked for somebody who had an in education, right? They were a former educator who'd founded a digital company, a company that made software and web development, and they wound up specializing in that because it was incredibly easy for them to go and make sales, right? And because it was easy for them to make sales, they snowballed, and eventually over time, they had a ton of clients, and they were all within that unique vertical, right? That kind of thing happens. Now, there are some considerations when it comes to, selecting and implementing a niche at your business. There's some, depending upon how you go about doing it, there's definitely a few things that you need to consider. And the first thing you need to consider about a niche is market saturation. Some people, let's say that you're a former lawyer, right, at your web agency. And so you say, well, not too many people are former lawyers who open web shops, but you get the example. If you were formerly, in that sector, you may think to yourself, well, it's going to be very easy for me because I understand the law, or I understand this niche. Well, what you may come to find out is that that's an incredibly competitive vertical, brutally competitive. And, even though I have a background, it's really not that easy to penetrate that market and, make a lot of headway there. So what I'm saying is when you pick a niche, okay, it doesn't really matter which niche you're going to go after. Make sure that it's good and logical for you to do so. And what I think the best way to go about it is, don't think of it in terms of, today I'm a general purpose web shop and tomorrow we're specialists. Okay, we're going to rebrand everything. We're going to change our website. We're going to change everything and just push in that one direction. I don't think that's usually wise. What's usually wise and what I've seen work is add in some proactive marketing. Okay, if you want to specialize, take your marketing and modify it so that you're running a campaign that's specific to that niche, but keep the general purpose marketing that's keeping you going alive. Okay. And after you've got a whole bunch of clients, in this one vertical, and you're slowly, you've grown in that direction for a while, then you can start to, over time, modify your image and modify your brand and modify things to really fit that niche. But don't think of it in terms of, well, I have to throw out everything I have and go in this direction with all my might, because it's not the way that it usually works. Usually you snowball in that direction. And that's kind of what I'm advocating. I'm advocating that you let nature take its course, steer your ship in that direction, add some proactive marketing, maybe add in a few marketing messages, obviously highlight those clients prominently in your portfolio. And over time, as you accrue more and more clients of this type, let the niche kind of manifest. Those that are brand new, if you're somebody who's just starting out, you're just starting your agency, and maybe you have a ton of background in, some specific, very esoteric vertical, right? You want to target it. I don't know, let's say it's clinical research. Okay. You're a former clinical research, coordinator, or, somebody in that business. You may say to yourself, well, if I go after that niche, there's not too many web companies that are really targeting this vertical. And that may well be true. Day one, though, you just need to land a client, right? You need to get your business some sales. And if you go and you broadly market, even though you may have a tremendous and it may be very easy for you to go into that vertical and make a tremendous amount of headway, it's still smart, generally speaking, when you're just starting up, to land clients to keep the business rolling, and even though you're working towards niche selection. It's a process becoming a niche specialized agency. And, depending upon the type of niche, it can be incredibly lucrative, and I could talk endlessly about that. If you have a niche SEO business and all your clients are plastic surgeons or high-end lawyers or, many different fields, it could be dentistry. If you're really good at what you do and you pick a niche that's highly lucrative, that has big marketing budgets and they're competitive, so they spend those budgets, you can be incredibly successful. But don't look at somebody who is successful in that direction, has a niche specialized agency, and think, well, I can do that tomorrow. Okay, it took them years to build up to that. It will for you too. In the meantime, you want to make money now, tomorrow, and all the days between now and when you are a niche agency. So just keep that in mind, keep that in consideration. And when you do decide to niche specialize, make sure that, everybody at your company, if you have, if you're a one-man shop, you're just one person, one man, one woman organization, it's very easy to make that turn, right? Because you make the decision and you implement that decision. But if you build up to where you have salespeople working for you and you have an apparatus in place and you decide to niche specialize, keep in mind that it takes time and you may need, different salespeople. You may need to change things in more than one way. Okay. Keep that in mind as well. Anyhow, get out there. Happy selling. Smash that like button and subscribe for more updates and more videos from Rocket Driver. Talk to you soon.